You know that feeling, right? Gripping the wheel, maybe your palms get a bit sweaty, your heart kind of races when you merge onto the highway, or just, navigating busy traffic.
Definitely driving anxiety. It's incredibly common.
It really is. And if that sounds like you, you're absolutely not alone. So this deep dive is for anyone feeling that tension behind the wheel.
And we're looking at a source today, a video actually, that doesn't just talk about the problem. It gives practical ways to feel calmer.
More confident.
Yeah, confident, in control when you're driving. So the goal here is really unpacking the key strategies from that source.
Okay, great. So mission for this deep dive. Let's get into the 5 powerful, practical ways this source suggests for overcoming driving anxiety.
Exactly. It's about tools you can actually use, not just theory.
Right. We need to know what we can do. So where does the source suggest starting? What's the first step?
Well, it puts a lot of weight on physical techniques, things you can do right there in the moment. Specifically, targeted breathing exercises. Like it might go into detail on box breathing or maybe the 4-7-8 method.
Okay. I've heard of those.
Yeah, and it explains how they work. How slowing your breath deliberately can interrupt that stress response.
Calms the nervous system down, lowers the heart rate.
Exactly. Yeah. Right when you need it, behind the wheel.
That makes total sense because when you're anxious, your breathing gets all shallow and fast, right?
Totally.
So grabbing control of that feels like, well, taking back some power. Okay, what else? What's next?
So beyond the physical stuff, the source talks about a really key mindset shift.
A mindset shift. How so?
It's about changing how you think about driving itself. Instead of seeing it as this inherently dangerous or chaotic thing.
Which is easy to do.
Right. The shift is towards viewing it more like a skill, something you're practicing getting better at, or even just, means to an end, getting from A to B.
Focusing on the task, not the potential what-ifs.
Precisely. Focusing on the process, not just bracing for bad outcomes.
Framing it as a skill you're honing. I like that. Shifting the internal story.
Exactly. And speaking of building skill and comfort, too, the source really pushes for gradual exposure.
Okay, gradual exposure, not jumping in the deep end then.
Definitely not. It's all about small steps, manageable ones, like maybe just driving routes you know really well first.
Or going out when traffic's late.
Yeah, or practicing short bursts on the highway. Then you slowly kind of increase the difficulty as you feel more confident.
Right. It's that classic approach for fears, isn't it? Applied to driving.
It is evidence-based stuff.
You're sort of teaching your brain, see, you can handle this. One little win after another. Okay, what about the car itself, the environment inside?
Good question. The source actually touches on the sensory environment, specifically music and soundscapes.
Interesting. So put on calming music.
Yeah, either consciously picking calm, soothing music or even just tuning into the sounds inside the car.
Like the engine hum. Road noise.
Exactly. Focusing on those ambient sounds rather than fixating on, say, the truck next to you. The idea is it can cut the tension, make the cabin feel more relaxed.
So creating your own little sound bubble, turning the car into a calmer zone, that's a neat idea.
Yeah.
Okay, and what's the 5th area the source covers?
This one's crucial. Knowing when you might need more support and how to get it.
Okay.
The source is pretty clear that while these techniques are great, sometimes you need professional help. It might mention, seeing a therapist who specializes in anxiety.
Or maybe specific driving program.
Exactly. Those exist too. It really stresses that reaching out isn't weakness. It's actually a sign of strength. And you can get strategies tailored just for you.
Right. So let's recap the 5 pillars from this source. We've got using those specific breathing techniques in the moment, then making that key mindset shift about how you view driving skill, not just threat.
Building confidence step by step with gradual exposure.
Yep. Then using music or soundscapes to make the car environment calmer.
And finally, knowing it's okay, even smart, to seek professional support if you need it.
It really lays them out as practical tools anyone grappling with driving anxiety can actually pick up and try, not just abstract ideas.
Absolutely. It boils down to these 5 areas as sort of leverage points you can use for making a change.
Makes sense.
And that leads to a final thought, really. If these are the 5 areas the source highlights for tackling driving anxiety,
right,
what aspect of overcoming this feels most significant to you? And maybe what could your own journey, your own experiences add to understanding how these methods actually work in practice?